Yeah, sure.
All right, we're recording. Okay. So how do you want to start with this?
Uh, so you said that killing animals is necessary, not vegan. So we could discuss that.
Okay, so yeah, from the current
And you appealed to Vegan Society definition. So I can name a few problems with that definition.
yeah, as well as yeah, that's not a perfect definition.
I mean, it's not even close.
Yeah.
It's not
Um
even good.
yeah, so I mean, you want to start with making the criticisms of the vegan society, and then I will also add in, or
Yeah, sure. So just to warn you, English is not my first language.
okay, that's fine.
Uh, so the first problem would be that uh, vegan society definition uh, is taking a utilitarian position.
Yep.
It cares about suffering and not about rights.
Yep.
If, so if you go by vegan society definition, it could be vegan to kill human. For example, one human, if if that would cause uh, less suffering.
Yep.
So it doesn't even look the nature of killing. For example, uh, you could use a utility monster which feeds uh, from others' pain, and that would be vegan by that definition. The second problem is uh, if I'm right, it involves like the word animals, not sentient beings. So, for example, it could be not vegan to kill a sponge uh, that is not sentient, but for example, some alien would be fine. Uh, then, yeah, and you are not vegan if you eat in a caloric surplus because you should avoid harm uh, to maximally extent. So, I would need to read the definition. I forget.
That's fine. Yeah, take your time. You want me to butt in, start putting my 2 cents, or you want to finish
Yeah,
yours?
sure, yeah, sure.
Okay. So yeah, coming from your yeah, starting from your first issue, I agree. Vegan society's definition, it doesn't uh apply a rights-based approach. It's based on reducing the amount of suffering as much as reasonable and practical, which can that logic can be used in a human context to uh,
By the way, it doesn't say reasonable. It says as far as it's possible
yeah,
and practicable. Sorry.
yep, yep. So yeah, when we apply that logic consistently to humans, um, that would because by definition humans are also animals biologically speaking. Um,
Yeah.
that would mean so like for example, a mother raising her child, she raised her child um with the best care in the world, and then all of a sudden she decides to murder the child, especially once the child reaches sentience. Um, uh, then yeah, by definition, that would actually be vegan. But that's the issue is that it's still violating the child's basic rights. And when we say rights, we are talking about basic rights. So like rights as right to bodily autonomy, the right to exist, right to
Yeah,
life.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
we are not talking about the right to vote or something like that.
yeah, yeah. We're not talking about like complicated rights like right to vote or um, you know, to engage in society. Those different or right to property and stuff like that. Yeah, we're not talking about that. Um, so that's the issue. That's the logical extension issue with yeah, using the utilitarian framework and not using rights-based approach. Second issue I would have with um, Vegan Society is they don't apply ethics to like um, in conjunction with reducing suffering to like the environment and its inhabitants. So that would include non sentient animals and uh, ecological sustenance, basically. So that can mean that, therefore, we can end up being vegan by not violating, sentient animals. But in the long term, we can still end up creating an increase of rights violations to sentient beings because we end up running out of basic necessities like water, food. Because the environment is just so the ecological environment is so uh, non-sustainable, or is unable to be utilized for habitat and use, basically, so we can all live in
Yeah, but
harmony, basically. Yeah. um and I think excluding like a rights-based approach also to the environment and like biodiversity and stuff like that, well, we're creating our own doom in the near future if we don't stop with all the mass production we already do uh, with the land animals, the sentient beings. Um, well, if we continue to allow like farming of bivalves and stuff like that, and I
yeah,
would,
but
yeah,
I'm not aware that that's bad for environment.
yeah, yeah, it's bad for the ecological environment, and so I would explain this in two different ways. So one way of why this is an issue is because, well, if we don't have a functional ecological sustenance of the environment and its inhabitants, well, clearly, uh, in the near future, due to mass extinction of those necessity species, and the the basic needs of to be able to exist, so like sun, like, without the sun, we wouldn't be able to exist. Without water, we wouldn't be able to exist. Look, I'm talking from a selfish point of view with sentient beings. So, um, uh, and as a result, well, we end up increasing overall rights violations to human beings because we don't have a functional ecosystem, and that we can all live in harmony to use, and not have to either fight over, creating wars over water, wars over habitable land and stuff like that, you know um
Yeah, but I'm not aware that yeah, that would happen if we start farming these non-sentient animals. And for example, even if we say that that's true, maybe it can lead to some weird scenarios where you wouldn't be able to maybe get on a plane or something like that. Because if we say it's wrong to do one thing because it's bad for environment, there are a lot of others things that are bad for environment. So
yeah, yeah.
I and I don't know honestly where did you get that from that farming those would be
So
so bad.
I would be for farming to increase the biodiversity, because decreasing it clearly brings us closer to an overall extinction of sentient beings. Without these non-sentient animals, and the biodiversity, especially within the aquatic life, um, without these and they're I want to say they are essential to preserving our ecosystem, and our existence basically. I would be for farming in the purpose of expanding the biodiversity, but to say that the farming for you personal use, or to exploit, yeah, I would say, well, um, would I would use the logic, well, in the human context. So if we started farming, let's say, um, humans who have a brain, they have a functioning nervous system, but they simply are unable to like interpret their subjective consciousness in a way that is equal to a bivalve or a non-sentient being. Well, would it be okay to breed and holocaust those? Um,
Well, I
uh,
think it could be because if they are not sentient, I don't value them.
so they technically they are sentient, but they just simply can't interpret that they exist like we can. Like
Uh,
like a severely disabled human being, basically
yeah, for
mentally
example,
sick.
they don't have like abstract thinking and stuff.
Yeah,
They, I mean,
clearly they
I
still
didn't know
like,
that.
yeah, clearly they still function sentient, like, but they're unable to like reach our subjective
I mean,
consciousness.
if that's the case, I don't think I would be okay with killing humans with the same level of consciousness. But
Right.
yeah. So what does the Nutrivore says? He holds that position that they are sentient, but they don't know that they exist.
Yeah, so yeah, sentience just means the ability to have a subjective consciousness. Um
So
and
they
so yeah, so because they have a
can't say no.
sorry, yeah, simply because they have a functioning brain and a functioning central nervous system, they are technically sentient, but their level of sentience is actually lower, to the point it's in
I think the Nutrivore uses one reductio for that brain thing.
yeah.
For example, a dead a human. It does have a brain, but it's not sentient. So yeah, I'm not aware that beetles are sentient. But if that's the case, then I wouldn't be in favor of breeding and killing them for sure.
Okay, yeah. So we would have a principal disagreement on that. The reason I'm against that is because then I would bring in the valid argument of potential type of sentience that we simply cannot interpret, that they may have. So, especially because they're within the Animalia kingdom, we know that
I honestly
we know
don't,
that
don't
we
care
have
about
sentience in a way that we have a functioning brain and a functioning central nervous system, but it could be the case without a brain and a functioning central nervous system. So like basic like nerve ganglia, um, a form of sentience could still exist, but we just simply cannot interpret it because we lack those traits. So
uh,
the
what do you
principle,
mean
the
it can?
principle,
You
uh,
mean it's logically possible, but we don't have any evidence for that.
yeah. So yeah,
I wouldn't
I
go by
was,
that because like
uh,
unicorns are logically possible.
can you repeat that last thing?
Unicorns and I don't know, Santa Claus is logically possible, but that wouldn't be enough to consider those things. Like, yeah, it could be a thing that consciousness could exist without brain and nervous system, but I'm not aware of that, and I don't have any strong evidence suggesting that.
Yeah. So I mean, if we apply hypotheticals, Would you rather be safe than sorry to not intentionally abuse those beings simply because they lack uh, your specific threshold of having that sentience, you know, as
You mean we can't be sure? We can for sure know, so it's better to leave them alone.
well. So um, from my position, I come from the philosophical background of agreeing with, you ever heard of Gary Yourofsky? He's a
Maybe I'm not sure.
he's a former retired vegan activist. He's based in U.S.
Oh, I know,
Yes,
the bald guy. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
know.
So from his perspective, we come to this conclusion by a way of being purely anti-discriminatory. So within all animal species, whether the tra-
So
the
even
discriminatory of we see it as the trade between like different races, sexes, um, and then obviously through logical consistency, even sentience is not a justifiable threshold to discriminate any species simply because they lack that trait. We see it all as pure evil. Um,
well, I don't see it that way. The only thing I value is sentience. I mean, not the only thing, but yeah, that's the main thing I value. And I honestly don't care if someone kills a sponge, sea sponge, or a cucumber, or I don't know, beetles if they are not sentient. The animal thing, it doesn't mean nothing to me.
okay,
So
well, yeah, like I said, that's a principal disagreement we have. Um,
yeah,
but
but I don't know
I would.
why would you value something just because it's an animal?
Well, so I mean, look at it from the victim's point of view. If you were that sponge,
What?
if you were
Yeah,
that,
but
just because you cannot
yeah, but I
interpret,
wouldn't
like
know.
you have the aggressive uh you're following the aggressor principle instead of the non-aggressive principle. You're the one attacking them, and they have done nothing wrong to deserve you attacking them. So
But
there will be
they are,
there'll be a justification if sponges, bivalves were attacking you, and then you had to defend yourself, and you end up killing, and then exploiting their body to eat them or something like that. But you're the one that's doing the attacking. You're being the aggressor, and you're abusing them simply because they lack that trait of sentience. I think that's
uh,
I think in
I don't
principle
think.
that's evil, and um that's a slippery
Can
slope
can
for
you abuse
even discriminating
can you
against us
abuse
sentient beings and the environment
can you
too,
abuse
which can
can you
lead to our
abuse a rock?
extinction.
Can you abuse a rock
Uh,
or a
I'm
plant?
talking about living animalia beings. I'm not talking about
Yeah,
rocks.
but
So
who cares? Like they don't have subjective experience. I mean,
yeah,
just because.
again, that's a trait that we don't see that's justifiable for discriminating
Yeah,
against.
I don't see any reason to
The
value
problem is
something just because.
Yeah, the problem is because of the principle of discrimination is pure evil.
Uh, I don't think that we can oppress or be violent to something that's not sentient. So
Well, so again,
if you could be violent,
you're objectifying non-sentient beings to being equal to rocks and um non-living
uh,
animalian beings. Well, clearly they're not. And again, if you put
well,
yourself
that,
in the victim's point of view, if you were that non-sentient being, clearly
yeah, I wouldn't give a shit.
clearly
I don't, I wouldn't
clearly
have a
you're
subjective
doing your own
experience.
thing, and then all of a sudden a higher form of
Man,
intelligent
but the problem is
being
you
is
assume that
attacking you. Well,
you
what
assume
what
that
you
they can have a subjective experience.
well, like I
I
said,
can't
it
put
it could
myself.
be the valid argument against that. It could be the them simply existing. They could have a different type of sentience that we just cannot
Well, man, guess
we we
Well, man,
simply
guess
cannot
what?
fathom
It
at the
could be.
moment. But it could
Well,
be
well,
validly
man,
possible logically.
listen. It could be that plants are sentient. It could be that rocks are
Well, I'm
sentient.
not arguing for plants. I'm arguing for all of Animalia, to have
Okay,
to be treated at
well, I can
least
use,
that we have
I can use,
basic rights. So you should have a right to exist.
well, I can use the same logic. You think that I can put myself
So that
into the
means,
position of a sponge just because it could be that they are sentient? Okay, then why do you eat plants? It could be that they are
well,
sentient.
because
Can you put
what?
yourself into their position?
So again, you're objectifying non-sentient animalia to equal to a plant. Well, again, we're arguing for all animal.
Dude,
So we're arguing for all
I don't
animals
think
to
the
be
sponge is.
treated as though they deserve rights. So that means applying the non-aggression principle. Don't be attacking something that's not
Okay,
attacking you. If you wanna attack like protists, if you wanna attack all these other living
man,
non-animal animalia uh uh beings, be my guest. We're arguing inconsistency of animal rights basically and treatment. Um,
okay. So if you want
whether you care or
rights,
not is
uh,
just besides the point. Like you're still
uh,
committing a logically speaking, still committing a heinous act because of a and discriminatory act, which is pure evil, and you're supposed to be against speciesism. Um,
how
first
can I
form of hatred. This is how
eliminate?
we got to racism, sexism, all this stuff was developed because of speciesism. Because we think we're
Uh,
so much more
man,
special.
listen,
Go
I'm
ahead, I'll
not
let you
aware
go.
that I'm not aware that I can violate the rights of something that's not sentient. Do you have an argument?
Well,
Uh, why should we value those animals, or is it just,
Well, I,
oh,
I, I
they are
posed the
animals?
argument earlier. So again, they pose an
I,
ecological necessity. So holocausting or performing the act of mass killing
that's
clearly
not an
would lead to
argument.
our own extinction, and as a
Okay,
result, will end up
that's
increasing
not
the rights
the argument.
violations to sentient beings.
Okay, okay, so
Well,
that's the only reason you be against killing those animals, just because uh, it could lead to bad scenarios.
yeah.
For
Oh,
example,
I forgot also. I can also add because of our if we continue animal exploitation, well, we clearly know that the more we're in contact with different species, the higher the risk and the higher the rate of developing new forms of zoonotic diseases too, which clearly
okay,
is
here's,
clearly against the reduction of overall rights violations because it'll end
here's the
up
thing.
increasing.
Here's the thing. Can I kill one sponge and I wouldn't do it ever again, and no one will do it ever again? Can I kill one? Why is it wrong to kill one sponge? Nothing bad will happen.
Well, yeah, sure. On the overall trajectory, sure, nothing may happen. But again, so you killing eating that sponge, well, you just simply increase the risk of develop of transferring a zoonotic disease to the human species, which would
Let's say,
clearly.
let's say, let's say, let's say that wouldn't happen. It's a hypothetical question,
Hmm.
hypothetical
So
scenario. So
sure,
killing one
if
sponge,
that didn't happen,
nothing
then
bad.
okay, yeah. If that didn't happen, then
Then would
the
you
the
kill?
issue would just simply be a principal ethical position of being against discrimination among all animal species.
Okay, so why is that, brother?
Because that clearly leads to discrimination among human beings,
Listen,
among
listen,
sentient
listen.
beings, and then obviously
Oh
it
man,
led to all the way to uh, discrimination on non-sentient beings, animalia beings.
I'm not aware that killing a sponge or beaver or farming beavers would like lead to yeah, all those bad things.
Okay, yeah.
This is
Then in
yeah.
that case, I would lead you to reading Gary Yourofsky's essays, and he goes over in history, um in
Honestly,
detail through history of how we got to human slavery, objectifications, and hatred throughout society, among
I
all the
mean,
sentient beings,
if that's the
and
case,
how that
if that's the
derived from
case,
us discriminating
if that's
against
the case,
non-sentient animal beings, basically.
if that's the case, sure. But let's say that's not the case.
Well, yeah,
Nothing
if that's
bad.
not the case, then yeah. So, but again,
If,
I'm proving, I'm pointing
okay,
out that that is the case. But if that's not the case,
okay,
then sure.
let's say,
Then
then there's nothing
the
wrong with
act
it.
of itself, if both the discrimination didn't exist, or the act of increasing overall rights violations in the long term didn't exist, like I pointed out, then sure, the act of killing a single non-sentient animal in of
So,
itself,
so the,
in of itself, um excluding all those other issues, sure, then that wouldn't be a problem in of itself,
okay,
because
so the trade,
the
just
act
so I
doesn't
can,
actually just the act
so
doesn't
I can
actually
tell you,
end up actually creating
I
any
could,
actual negative utility at the end of the day, basically,
I could improve then your
or
points.
rights violations.
So the trait is not, oh, it's an animal. It's the thing.
It's both. It's
For
so
what?
again, I point out everything that's wrong. It is because it's an
It's
animal, and it is because
okay, sure.
the
But the
outcome
main
of
thing,
exploiting the
yeah.
non-sentient being, it leads to overall increase of rights violations of sentient beings, because it you significantly increase the risk of zoonotic transmission, disease transmissions across
But
species,
listen,
and you
the burden
and
of proof,
the
proof
acts
is on
of
you.
the act also is pro discriminatory, which is also throughout history has been used among uh, each other of sentient beings, basically.
So the burden of proof is on you to demonstrate those things, and yeah, I remain agnostic on the thing. So I'm not aware that it's wrong to kill a sponge. You made the claims. I don't have an idea why would I believe that killing a sponge or farming them would lead to racism and
Because you
increasement in
objectify
rights.
a animal just because it's lacking a certain trait. So that's exactly what we do among each other.
Yeah, but
So
I'm not aware that that would lead
the
to.
principle still exists of discrimination.
I'm not aware that discrimination towards sponges and beavers would lead to racism and right relations in
Okay,
human
yeah, then
society.
I would direct you to Gary Yourofsky's essays. I want you to read
Yeah,
them.
sure. Yeah, sure.
I'll link his website, adapt.org.
Yeah, sure.
It
I mean,
goes
if that's
through
the
it
case,
in detail.
to not follow that if that's the case. But yeah, I remain agnostic.
Okay.
So
Besides that, do you want to go through Nutrivore's definition of veganism, or you want to
yeah,
finish
I
or
go by the definition. Veganism is an extension of human rights.
uh-huh.
I don't know if that's his definition, but lifting vegan logic and vegan gains share this definition.
Yeah, is there any like what's the word? I'm sorry. I'm not very fluent also in English, but it is my native language. I just yeah, I'm just not fluent in it. But is
Uh,
there any like stipulations that along with that definition, or is it just that simple?
it's that simple because we
Okay,
already know
then yeah,
what the
I could point
human
out the
rights
flaws.
what we know what the human rights are.
Yeah,
So basically,
it's
we run a name the trade side.
yeah, yeah.
If we should,
I know it because I used to be Vegan Gains member, channel member. I know it. So yeah, basically it follows logically, consistently with human rights, and extending them to animals. And then so again, that definition that includes non-sentient animals. You didn't say sentient animals, you said animals. So
What did I
that's one.
say?
Hold on,
Oh,
hold on. I just want to point
okay,
this
okay,
out.
okay. I
Um,
would change that.
yeah, yeah. So I want to point that out. That's also what y'all flawed with implementing within definition. Then the second is also, well, these non-sentient animals again, um, the the use, the exploitation, the close proximity of us putting each other in animal animal farming. This currently exists with uh, um, sentient animals. So pigs. We got like the flu because of that shit like that. We're farming pigs and stuff like that, etc. Yeah. Well, we're able to start farming and getting proximity and consuming these non-sentient animals. Um, we have no idea the diseases that we can transfer to the human species because of that, and then therefore lead to our a public health crisis, which ends up overall increasing rights violations of sentient beings. We don't. It could be the case that, and also the again, the principle of discrimination is still allowed. So the objectifying of these non-sentient animals in of itself is evil because they're innocent beings. Even if they're not sentient, they're innocent beings.
Uh, I mean,
They done nothing to deserve us objectifying and abusing their existence.
so it again all comes to uh, increasing in other stuff. If we like don't care about non-sentient animals.
I'll explain this also in a So you ever heard of that vegan whey product that came out? There's a company, I don't remember the company name, but they sell vegan whey protein, and
Yeah,
it's 100% lab created. It's created through fermentation of I don't remember exactly what they said. I read it like a few days ago, and it blanked now. I don't remember how the process, but it's 100. They have not exploited any cows for it or any animals
yeah, but
for it.
they copied the real way or something like that,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
it came up through like some type of fermentation within the lab.
Yeah,
Yeah. Basically, if we end up creating a 100% lab created animal product that has zero risk of disease transmission, zoonotic disease transmission, um, uh, to be logically consistent, I'm all for it. I think everybody should have a right to harm themselves if they want. That's just
yeah,
a that's yeah that's but yeah, again, because whether you're sentient or not, like the act of discrimination itself, if you want to discriminate yourself against yourself, be my guest, be all for it. Like I could care too less because especially since I'm a misanthrope. I'm a misanthrope. I I'm just gonna be honest and straightforward. I despise the human species. I despise what we do. Um, but besides that point, which is besides the point, I think we could create you know, if we use our intelligence in the right way instead of using it in discriminatory and environmental destructive way like we currently are doing, I think we can actually become ecologically friendly to the point that we're actually become the unnecessary species to exist on this planet. Because you do know, factually speaking, without the human species on this planet, everything else prospers. So humans
yeah,
we have no use, we have no need to be on this planet at all. If we were
yeah,
to completely leave and we went to what Mars, we completely went to live on a whole different planet. Everything on this planet benefits and it continues to prosper. But yeah, but us taking away the existence of these non-sentient beings who have existed way farther than we have, um, and uh, have led us to us existing, us being the aggressor and preying on them simply because they like the trait of sentience. Holy shit! we have a big ass fucking problem. Why is a species that is so destructible so much more important than a species being here longer that led to us existing in the first place? Why would you not want to care about the ones that were here longer and they led to us existing? By preserving the environment and the ecological, sustenance.
I
Yeah,
mean, if
it's
we can't,
completely illogical, and I find it extremely
I don't know, man.
hypocritical.
Like, yeah, maybe we evolved because of them, but like, if we can't benefit anymore from them and they are not sentient, I just don't care. I don't know
Well,
what's
I
there,
pointed out how they
what
are
there's to value.
important. They're important because they led to us existing in the first place, and
Yeah, but who
also
cares? Because
them existing preserves biodiversity. It preserves an ecological sustenance, so we can continue to exist, and we can continue to decrease overall rights violations. But us,
yeah, sure. If that's the case, then sure. But yeah, I'm not aware of that.
okay,
I wouldn't go by that. Yeah, they helped us to evolve, to exist. Therefore, we should not kill them, even
well,
though they are not sentient.
it's like saying like we have mothers, right? So we were birthed because of our mother and father, right? Um, just because they were sentient, they birthed us from being sentient, doesn't mean that they're somehow so much more special to yeah, simply because it's sentient. Well, us simply because we were birthed from them, well, we should respect their rights to exist because without them to existing, we wouldn't have existed in the first place,
Yeah, but only because
regardless of the
they are
sentience.
sentient.
That's a
Well,
separate trait. That's
I
exclusive.
value my mother only because she's sentient. I mean, if my mother was a machine that created me, yeah, I would probably value that machine, but I wouldn't be against destroying that machine because who cares?
Well, you say you value it, so that's completely contradictory
Yeah,
to destroying.
I mean, you can value something, but yeah, yeah, I should frame it differently. I would value it and I would leave it to exist if it can produce more lives. But if I can't benefit anymore from that machine, I wouldn't care and I wouldn't value that machine.
Well, again, from the seller's point of view, um, from the seller's point of view, I think that's unfair because then the machine can also
I
value
mean, man,
other
we
sentient beings,
can.
or it can also create the value of preserve the environment or something like that. Um, Again, without you existing or all of us existing, us all billions of sentient beings, these non-sentient beings have existed to preserve our existence and to because they pose as a necessity to the ecological uh, um, you know to the ecology basically of the planet, the health of the
Oh, man,
planet.
you know what? I'm leaning towards anti-natalist side, so
Yeah,
even
I'm gonna be honest. I am an
maybe I
anti-natalist too, but again, we value more of the uh, uh, increase in well-being
maybe
as
maybe
well as decreasing
maybe
the overall rights violations of our actions,
yeah,
basically.
yeah, if that's the case. But yeah, I'm not aware that that's the case. So we are arguing about other options.
Yeah,
So, for example, I'm not aware why should I value something that uh, 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 I should be thankful to exist. Or maybe I should
sure.
destroy the entire thing because existence is not necessarily good.
Okay,
I
yeah,
mean, I
I
think
would agree with that. And then now I will then now I would come back with you with so because you don't value your own existence, well, should you not value others' existence um in conjunction to
I
you
mean
not existing as well?
I didn't say that I don't value my existence.
Well, you said you're anti-natalist, so I mean,
Yeah, I'm agnostic on that too, but yeah, I'm leaning towards anti-natalist side. So I was arguing like in a hypothetical sense.
Okay. Yeah. So like because you're not valuing existence in of itself because you exist. Um. Does
I
that
mean,
mean does that mean
I could
we should not care about the existence of others whether they're sentient or not?
can you repeat?
So my question is, because of from your perspective being closer to anti-natalism framework, does that mean that everything else that
Yeah,
exists is therefore not is not valuable to the point of the outcome of reduce overall rights violations?
I don't know if we share the same meaning of the word. So for me, anti-natalism uh, is a position that it's wrong to uh, bring people into existence. But I didn't say that I wouldn't value those humans. Yeah, if it happens that they are here, so yeah, I would value them. But I would be against, just like for example, I'm against rape. But if someone rapes my mother, uh, I would value that child. I wouldn't kill that child. I mean, I would abort it, but if it happens to be born, so I can hate rape and be against rape, but that doesn't mean that I would also hate that
The
uh,
offspring, the sentient
existence.
offspring.
That means what?
Yeah, you're talking about so because uh you're against rape, but the act of rape ended up bringing out a sentient offspring, that
Yeah, yeah.
that you
I
would
would
not
value
be
that.
that you would not find that the sentient offspring is therefore not also is not valuable um as a result of the rape. Like you're against the rape, so like the rapist, fuck them, like they deserve the prison, they deserve to
Yeah,
be exercised from society, put in prison basically. But the
yeah,
victim of the rape, you would not therefore find that both the offspring, the sentient offspring, I'm assuming, because by your definition, you value the sentient. Um,
yeah.
yeah. Um, you would not therefore find that their existence is not therefore not also is not valuable as a result of that act, even though that act is evil. So therefore, yeah,
Yeah.
yes. So therefore, you wouldn't be for uh uh you're not a strict anti-natalist. You're just simply a
I mean, I'm not aware that anti-natalists are like against existence. They are just against bringing people into existence. But if it happens that people are born, fuck it.
Okay, so yeah, okay. Um, yeah, I mean,
Like, for example, Vegan Games claims that he is anti-natalist, but
hmm
only towards dumb people, like they shouldn't have kids and stuff like that. But we are
yeah,
normal
yeah,
people, by
I agree with
yeah,
that.
should be.
Yeah, that would be equal to like a what do they call them? Incest couples having offspring. Yeah, that would
Yeah,
be
yeah,
yeah, that would
private
be
things.
a
Yeah, but not necessary. For example, I heard that people with Down syndrome are very happy, and yeah, I don't know why someone would be against that, against their existence.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
So
if it leads to some like bigger retardation, then sure.
okay, yeah,
If it's like
that, that
if it's like
that's fine.
painful.
Yeah, that's fine with me. That framework is fine with me. And then yeah, so because yeah, I'm an anti-natalist. I think people who who are unfit to be parents, yeah, they should not be parents. They because they would end up overall increasing rights violations of their offsprings, whether it's through and this is within society, not even the basic rights. We're talking about within society. Um, they'll end up giving them what, like uh 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 bad nutrition, to decrease their
Yeah, yeah,
overall, yeah, well-being basically. Um,
yeah, yeah. In my country, like the average IQ is really low, so
yeah,
like parents are retarded, so they would treat kids badly. They would beat them and stuff. So yeah,
yeah.
for sure, it's
People, yeah,
immoral
parents like
to
who, yeah, people or parents that exist like that, yeah, that should not exist any further in the future. Um, as
yeah.
we go along, yeah, I agree. And
We should keep them in cages and rape them.
yeah, yeah, that, yeah, to be logically consistent, I mean, to be logically consistent with, yeah, the current, I mean, with the definition of you know, um, uh, decreasing overall rights violations, or increasing the amount of overall rights to sentient beings, from both human and animal, uh, yeah, beings basically, yeah, that not sentient animal beings, yeah, that logically makes sense, and yeah, I agree with that. Okay, so
Yeah, but
ref-
listen, I have one point. So if you're anti-natalist, so if you had the chance to press one button and to end all existence in the world, would you do it?
all existence, for all
Yeah, yeah,
existence,
all of
no.
it.
For
Yeah.
and this is me personally speaking, so like my feelings on I again, I'm a misanthropist, so by my framework of sentient beings, particularly humans, not like herbivorous animals like cows, pigs, chickens, not those, not including them. They're not the problem of this of this
It
injustice
will be better for
that I
them.
present.
It's
But
hard. So
among human beings, absolutely, I fucking press the red button and fucking wipe us all out.
yeah. So my point was, would you say that you're threshold deontologist?
I'm a threshold deontologist. I'm not a utilitarian.
Yeah. So I find those two positions conflicting.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
I
Like I
press
said,
the button,
personally, like it's the same
the
as what.
button,
Yeah.
it would
So
go against the
I,
position.
I I understand where you're going. So personally, it's just like what Vegan Gaines saying that he hates, he cannot stand children. He has like a phobia of children, and but he does not support the rights violations uh of acts to be done onto children. That's basically my point with the human species. So yeah, if it was personally my choice only, you know like us, our personal choices have nothing in cannot be enacted in reality basically, but it's simply our preference. It's just simply
Yeah.
my preference to wipe all human existence out of the face of the earth. But that does
Yeah.
not mean I support the current rights violations among humans and sentient animals, and of course, through what I said, explaining with non-sentient beings and a million beings. But yeah, so I hope that you know hope that makes
Yeah.
sense to you.
Yeah, I got it. So, so your position is like close to mine.
Yeah,
So
it's fairly
you
close. I would just also I wouldn't say so. From already pointing out, yeah, the definition, infraction that y'all make, was saying just generalizing animals in your definition to being sentient. I would differ from actually including all of animalia species, basically, because I believe that
Yeah.
from what I explained before,
So,
yeah,
so
that would
no,
be
yeah, it's
the difference between our definitions. But yeah,
right.
overall, we would agree among the sentient beings. But yeah, we just have that disagreement with non-sentient.
So let's touch on pedophilia. Uh, do you think it's like always wrong to have a sex with a child?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like children, it's just like I think it's wrong to take advantage and exploit an animal sexually, like what we currently
Okay,
do with cows. I
can
think
I ask you?
essentially
Can I ask you?
mentally, children are equal to like cows' mental side of
Yeah, I
things.
know, but there is a reductio. Like, are you against retarded people having sex?
Uh, can you say that again?
Are you against retarded people having sex? Because they are stupid just like children, and you can like manipulate them and stuff. Just like
So
children.
the question is what again? I'm sorry, I'm not understanding what you said.
Why is uh, having sex with a child wrong?
Yeah, so I find that children are equally mentally not fit to understand the actions of
Yeah,
sex equal
but here
to
is the
like
reductio.
you
Here is
said.
the reductio. Like, what about mentally disabled humans? They
Yeah,
can't also like have concepts of sex and stuff. So
yeah,
I'm
so
really stuck
the
on
act of
on this.
exploitating them when you cannot directly get enthusiasm consent, that action is in of itself evil and wrong, and that leads to an increased overall rights violations. Is why I'm against that.
What about two children having sex? Like, you're fine with that
um In practice, as long as they
when they
don't
are
produce
born.
offspring, yeah, that's fine. But in like I don't think we should be advocating for children to be having sex though. If they're gonna have sex, they should be we should be advocating for them to have safe sex. But yeah, we should not we should be like educating them on sex, but we should not be outright just uh you know advocating them to have sex because I find them to not be mentally adequate to be parents in the first place, as a result of the act of sex.
If, for example, we find a child that's more like prepared and smarter than some uh, uh, old guys, like, or girls. So should that girl or boy be able to have sex?
Yeah, I still be against
Like,
that because of the principle. The principle of it is they classify as minor, and the adult is the adult. The adult, what no, even if they're mentally retarded adult, they have much more agency to be able to make that decision for themselves. But the child doesn't because the child is still developing, and they're the what's the term? What's the word? Um, they simply are needed to be in a protected group from exploitation of adults, basically. Same as with sentient animals, from the framework of our agreement. Um, yeah, simply from like sentient animals, non-human animals, and humans, basically. The non-sentient animals mentally simply are unable to uh, 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 understand the act and the consequences of the act. Um, so yeah, I would not be for legalizing um, um, uh, you know adults and minors to be having sex and um,
I mean, you
sentient
could have a
non-human animals and humans to be having sex. Um,
you could have like some hypothetical scenario where where you would need to change your position. For example, like uh, child that's smarter and like in every sense better than an adult. Why should we one? Why should one be able to? Why should one have right to have sex but not the other? If all criteria is met,
Yeah, I understand
like listen,
the
when I was
out.
when I was like 10,
Uh-huh.
uh, I had like a hot teacher. So
Yeah.
I really I really don't see a problem, and I wouldn't be traumatized or anything. So,
Yeah, so how old are you?
uh,
If you don't mind me asking, I'm
21.
sorry. You're 21? How old is
20,
the teacher?
yeah. No, I was 10, but now I'm 21.
Okay, so
Uh,
how old was the teacher when you was 10?
Probably like 15 years older than me,
Okay,
something
so
like that.
about maybe 25, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, 21,
Yeah,
25, yeah.
I understand that you may not feel objectified or exploited, but the act of the simply because uh like this is an outlier situation. Overall, children are simply not mentally fit to understand the act of sex between simply you're still in mental development. You don't actually know what you want, and as a result, um, yeah,
But no,
I
listen,
find
listen.
that you just simply
We,
are unable to
we,
enthuse to commit an enthusiastic, consenting choice in that matter, simply because you're so much younger. You and you're a protected class within society. We do not want to have a society objectifying children to be sexually
let's
used.
say, let's say, let's say, no one would know.
If no one would know, um, okay, if no one would know, and I was just
I,
simply, if,
I wouldn't be
if
traumatized. I wouldn't regret it.
yeah, you wouldn't be
I would
traumatized.
have, yeah, I would have a good time, and nothing bad would happen.
Yeah, then I would just point to again the exploitation of itself as being evil. Even if
Yeah,
you even if you somehow enthusiastic consent within your personal view to that sex, because again, this is a you're describing an outlier situation. Overall, the outcome of having enthusiastic consenting minors to having sex with consenting adults can lead to a potential societal
yeah, man. But
overall decrease
I said nothing
overall
bad.
increase in rights violations within society because um,
Yeah,
then
but
we
I
start
said like
then
no,
we start
no,
creating
no.
offspring between children and fully grown adults, and I think that's a big problem.
Oh man, you're like mixing stuff. Like nothing bad would happen, and that's it. You can't appeal to like.
So it's simply you just saying the well-being of the sex between you and that teacher.
So
um
we would only go with utility, nothing more. Like positive utility, nothing bad would happen.
okay, so
Like
yeah, you're just appealing to simply like a utilitarian point of view between you two simply like
uh,
yeah, there's no disadvantage to simply you two having sex um regardless
the
of
only thing
even if
that
that regardless of the action and society itself not knowing. It's
yeah,
just yeah, just the act between you two.
thus the utility goes up, positive utility, and nothing bad happens.
Yeah,
So
so
I can argue that that's morally
so
good.
excluding all those external factors that you want to exclude between you two, um between you as the minor and the adult, um uh I would say that that would actually
The bullet, like the bullet,
that would probably even though
like
you
the bullet.
personally even though you personally find it to be overall increasing well-being between you two, the act um of the adults, um so hold on. So the stipulations uh of your hypothetical is simply you, regardless if you're a minor or not, and the teacher being an adult, regardless of that, the sex itself between you and the teacher, you being 10 and the teacher, and you know that you absolutely want the teacher, and vice versa. Is that
Yeah.
wrong? Okay. Well, in that case, then I would say, in of itself, that no, I mean, I can't say that's objectively wrong. Subjectively, you may think that's right, and I would not be able to like argue against that, because that's a completely subjective experience between y'all two. But
Yeah, but I'm asking.
yeah, I'm speaking from I'm speaking from the societal point of view, from the overall well-being of society. Um, but
Okay.
yeah, between y'all
Like,
two, simply with excluding society and nobody ever
yeah,
knowing within society, it's just between y'all two. Then yeah, hands off. We can't. Society can't do nothing about that. What we gonna do? We're gonna put you both in jail, or attempt to ban y'all two from
no man,
coexisting,
no
because
one would
we
know.
don't even
No
know.
one would.
Yeah, we don't even know if it's going on.
No
So
one.
it can't be wrong, as a result. So yeah, I mean, as long as society doesn't know about it, I mean, all hands off. But once society knows,
But,
then then I think society has
uh,
obligations to stop that relationship.
whenever I like appeal to society and stuff, my friend would do a reductio on me. Like, what if uh, you know uh, uh, waving a hand in a certain motion would increase right violations, negative utility and stuff.
Uh huh.
Like, is it then, or for example, like walking? Is it, if walking increased uh, right violations and negative utility? Uh, I think that walking and or waving my hand is morally wrong. Honestly, I wouldn't. So I wouldn't like care about society.
Okay, yeah. So excluding
Mm.
society, excluding
Then I hit a bullet and say like, yeah, if society decided that me walking is like bad, and they would like go crazy and stuff and negative utility and shit. Like I wouldn't think like, yeah, walking is bad, like, just because society decided.
right. So yeah, excluding society's viewpoint, and excluding deontology framework of reference, simply the
Yeah, but
utilitarian.
I don't even see like why a child, for example, me, like when I was 10 years old, why I couldn't like uh, give consent.
Yeah,
Why
I
is such a big deal? Like uh, for example, I was very cute as a child, so everyone would like cuddle with me and stuff, hug me.
uh-huh.
They didn't want. They didn't want.
No sexual touching, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, like normal touching, but they didn't uh, ask me for consent.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
why?
I understand. Yeah, that's hypocritical. That is a basic right, violation of bodily autonomy. Yeah, I think children should be I think children are mentally apt enough to be able to decide whether they want to be touched or not. Um, I just don't think that sexually they can understand the consequences, because the result of the sex itself, uh, assuming this is a straight relationship, straight sexual relationship, or heterosexual relationship, can lead to an outcome of offspring being created.
Uh, But let's say that in that hypothetical scenario, like we couldn't uh, get pregnant. We couldn't like we would use
So like a
condoms and
lesbian
stuff like
couple or somebody, or yeah, safe sex.
yeah, for example,
Yeah.
or a straight couple that's like can't have kids.
Okay, yeah. So again, excluding the deontology view, so the the rights approach,
Yeah,
and
but
the
I still don't get it. Like, why can't a child like say yes? For
yeah,
me,
for the sexual,
when I was young, like when I was like a child, for
yeah,
me, sex was like a candy, you know, like yeah, like
hmm,
why would I need some greater mind to consent to sex, but not to a candy? Like I don't
yeah.
get.
So yeah, we can simply appeal to the reason for that is because we can appeal to children not being mentally apt to be able to make that decision for themselves. Um,
Okay, why can I make a
the reason,
decision
yeah, the reason why
to get a candy, but not?
is because of the act of grooming, um, because that leads to uh, like a psychological uh, um, fondling. Children are much more and significantly much more likely to uh, uh, be a result of sexual abuse because especially from grooming. So if you spent like actual personal time with the teacher,
Yeah, but
hypothetically speaking.
let's say, like hypothetically speaking, like that's not the case. No one would like abuse me and stuff. We can put it in hypothetical
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
There is
So
no abuse,
there's no
only
grooming. There's is simply okay. So you just like met up
only
and then y'all found that y'all
only
sexually attracted to each other.
yeah, yeah.
Basically that. Okay, and without society knowing, if that happens, then yeah, I think there's actually no ethical issue with that because it's I mean the only thing that's being committed is a increase in y'all subjective experience of utility. So
Yeah,
yeah,
sure, yeah,
excluding
sure.
everything else that we've mentioned, yeah, I think uh um
Yeah, if you always appeal to society, you can get like into weird
yeah, yeah,
places.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So, um, I mean, I think like so. Are you arguing that children are mentally apt to be able to make decisions equal to adults?
I just don't see like what's the big deal about sex. If
The
yeah, sure, you can a child can probably get hurt and stuff like it can get pregnant, but if we remove those bad things, I don't see like nothing morally wrong with that. Just like in a hypothetical scenario that I gave you.
yeah. So just only applying utility is in of itself.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
just
There's not. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, um uh that of itself, yeah, sure, that's not necessarily unethical because that's just only involving subjective experiences that you know simply
and listen, like,
yeah,
should we like care about the populations of humans that eat meat?
yeah. So yeah,
I don't
like
give a
the
shit.
eating meat of itself um is not the ethical issue. It's even if they yeah, I understand what you're saying. But like the murdering of the animal to get the meat and stuff like that, yeah, that's the ethical issue. And then in the
Yeah,
case with the child and the teacher, the act of the sex between in of itself increasing utility, yeah, that's not evil in of itself. But the act of the teacher uh, um, grooming you, like, yeah, again, if we extrapolate it to including the whole context within society, uh the society, yeah, we will see it as grooming, and then obviously sexual exploitation slash rape, because the child is
Yeah,
not, yeah, but yeah, yeah, excluding all that in of itself, the utilitarian point of view, between you and that teacher, yeah, yeah, um, that's fine in of itself, because yeah, there's no other external factors of in play basically. So hypothetically speaking, yeah, that in of itself is not an issue.
sure. Uh, do you want to talk like about something else?
Um, I mean, I don't want to. I'm not sure if you like you have time. I know you said you want to head to the gym and you probably got something else to do or something
No,
like that.
no, I already went to the gyms.
Okay, you already did. Okay, cool. I
By the
mean,
way, like you work like night shifts.
yeah, yeah, I work night shifts. Yeah.
What is your work?
I work in a warehouse.
I don't
I
know.
basically pull heavy shit all damn day for like 10 hours.
Oh shit. Where are you from?
USA. I'm not gonna completely dox myself.
And you couldn't like get a better job in USA.
Um, well, so I mean, the way that the USA works is that everything is literally everything that you do is with a price tag. Everything has to do with money, monetary value. So the cheapest things on the in the market are simply uh, uh, obviously especially pay is not having like a college degree, um uh if you're socially you don't have a high network of people to meet, stuff like that, which I have. Again, I'm a misanthrope, so I intentionally refrain myself from acting within societal, participated within society. Even I even try to. I'm not even gonna say this, but I'll just say that I don't even try to help with the social programs within my area. I don't use the social program, so I don't feel I should have to pay to help other people in social with social programs, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Um, uh, so basically, what I do is cheapest form of living, but at the same time, as long as I consistently work, I'm able to provide the basic living that I can provide for myself. I don't feel that having to go out and like I simply don't feel comfortable doing it. Like I prefer not to deal with people. I hate bureaucracy basically. Everything in America works with
yeah,
bureaucracy. Everybody
yeah.
faking, yeah, everybody faking behavior, being acting like they're being nice or cordial. But at the same time, if actually the act of the monetary value actually ends up in a rights violation, well, people within society, they don't actually care, and then obviously that extends to the animals. So like there's discriminatory economic like I'm black if you haven't noticed. So um
I didn't.
within society, us black folks, we have a monetary disadvantage overall, like in wealth basically. So um
Yeah,
yeah, there's this disproportionate amount of homeless people who are minorities. That's not to say that when I bring up these issues of like societal, I'm not appealing to like it only happens to black people or anything. All races are impacted by this monetary system that we have, pure capitalism basically. Like we barely have any actual
yeah,
socialism basically. So yeah, I cannot stand operating personally within this system to be in my benefit basically. So I just like to do the bare minimum to get by. So that's my preference.
yeah. You just like me. Like I, this is how I view my like future life. Like I will get like some job, house, and the dog, and
Yeah.
that's it, man. Like, but yeah, I study philosophy. Like, I'm at the first year, but I don't think like I can get like some job in my country with philosophy degree.
Yeah.
Like you probably didn't hear about my country, like Montenegro.
Montenegro. I'll look into your
Yeah,
country more, like,
yeah,
researching. But yeah, I don't know much.
it's close to Croatia and Serbia.
Okay.
Shitty country, but I also work like night shifts, but
Hmm.
as a security guard, and
Okay.
yeah, it fucks you up. Like it fucks your sleep. Like
Yeah.
uh, so, it would probably be best for you to at least work at a day.
Yeah, I actually don't find working at night fucks my sleep up personally because again, I prefer not to have to deal with many people. The least
Yeah,
people are
yeah.
outside, out in public
Dude, like
at
people,
night.
like
So that's my
everything is
preference of
like
operating within
everything.
society. Um,
Everything is a social contract. Like
yeah,
you can ask like a average human, why is killing another human bad? Like they can't answer. The only way,
yeah,
they just think it's wrong because the society says so.
exactly. Yeah, they appeal to,
They,
tradition or they appeal to
listen, man,
legality or something like that. Yeah.
man, if everyone like raped and stuff,
Yeah, nobody thinks about the
people would
principles of their actions. Yeah, it's all, yeah, it's
be,
all
yeah,
just what exists there is. Yeah, they just try to make sense of their, um, you know, their current situation of existence within society. They don't think about like the future consequences, and this is also why we're heading to mass extinction too. Um, yeah, people are just following the leader of um, the elites basically, because
yeah.
the elites are getting everything they want. They have the wealth, they have the power, and they're the one doing the advertising and controlling people's minds to buy shit that they don't people don't fucking need and stuff. Yeah, it's a big fucking problem. But yeah, I mean,
So
other than that, is there anything else you want to grill me on, or I mean, because I think we got to what we got to be able to properly understand each other.
yeah, yeah. I think that yeah, uh, there's nothing left to tell
Yeah,
you. You're also an atheist, right?
yeah, I'm an athist. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
was
yeah,
born a Christian, but yeah, I converted to atheism when I like
yeah,
turned
but I
18,
never
basically.
like I would call myself a believer when I was young, but I didn't really believe in God.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah,
I can't conceptualize like God or all powerful being and stuff.
yeah, a
Like
God in
I
this world.
prefer,
Yeah,
yeah,
like really,
yeah,
like
maybe,
it just makes
maybe,
no sense.
maybe maybe an evil one, but
Yeah, like it's so much suffering. What truly would a God create all this suffering? Like that would be the exact opposite of a God. That'd be the devil, you know. So if anything, the devil
yeah,
exists.
yeah. But
But
you know, man, he gave us a free will.
yeah, yeah. So
like
yeah,
like there is no other issues than humans. Like let's look into animal kingdom, like with all those predators and stuff.
yeah, and
That's
yeah,
all it can
and,
be.
building off of vegan gains and Nutrivore's definition also yeah like we don't actually like completely value sentient beings because regarding the if rights violations are being committed in the process, um, we think we should have the right to defend ourselves from that violator, from the perpetrator of that rights violation. So as a
Yeah,
result, um, you know, if we know the outcome to being of exterminating or killing the sentient being to to prevent them from committing, the atrocity like Nazis, then yeah, obviously, you know, we have to do what we got to do to be able to exist, because we can't live in
Yeah,
we can't live in harmony with them. It's either kill or be killed in that circumstance. Yeah.
yeah, I agree. Okay, then that's it.
All right. How you pronounce your name
Thanks.
is?
Uh, uh, I mean, in English you can say it like that, but in my country it's
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Nice to
Okay,
meet you. And I'm just gonna stick with you. Just call me Wolf, Demon Wolf. It don't matter. Um,
sure.
I don't want to dox my name, but I mean, do you want me to blur out to edit blurring out your name, or how do you want?
Maybe maybe you could blur that because
Okay.
you know
Yeah, yeah.
we
I
talk
got you. I
about
don't want to dox your name or anything. I
yeah, so I'm not scared in general, but yeah.
I got you.
Uh,
Okay,
okay,
and yeah,
thanks for
I'll blur, yeah, I'll blur saying out how to pronounce it and stuff. I got you.
thanks.
Thank you.
Here, bye.
Or I appreciate it.
Me too.
All right, and we will stop recording now.